Hello and welcome. You're watching a very special interview on BharatShakti.in. You're all aware that on Monday night, Cyclone Tauktae made its landfall in Gujarat and it has caused severe devastation. Scores of people have died, and this is the strongest storm on record to hit the west coast of India. The Indian Navy, of course, has risen to the occasion and is now scouring the seas to find any survivors of the operational oil rigs, the personnel of the operational oil rigs, as well as of any vessels that came in the way of the cyclone. So, search and rescue missions are on, and Navy ships INS Kochi, INS Kolkata, INS Beas, INS Betwa, INS Teg, maritime surveillance aircraft, Chetak, ALH helicopters, they are all involved in the search and rescue operations. I'm privileged that to tell us more about this, we are joined by the Director General of Naval Operations, Vice Admiral Dinesh K Tripathi. Sir, thank you very much for taking out the time to speak to BharatShakti.
Thank you, Neelanjana and BharatShakti. It is my pleasure to be talking to you. Please.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I know you're very hard pressed for time with everything that's going on, but very quickly, could you just sum up for us the status of the search and rescue operations as we speak, and what is the ground situation at the moment, and most importantly, is the Indian Navy still hopeful of finding survivors?
Yes, Neelanjana, Indian Navy's search and rescue operations of Mumbai have entered the fifth day today. Our ships and aircraft have been continuously undertaking search for the missing crew members of the Accommodation Barge P-305, which unfortunately sank 35 nautical miles off Mumbai on 17th May. The sea and weather conditions have improved now, and 4 Indian Navy ships, Teg, Betwa, Talwar, Tarasa, and 2 Coast Guard vessels are deployed in the area to search for the missing personnel. As I said, the search effort is being supplemented by aerial searches by naval aircraft and helicopters. As of now, out of the total 261 crew members of Barge P-305, 186 have been rescued. Additionally, 2 survivors from the tug Varaprada have also been rescued. So that makes 188. 56 mortal remains have been recovered so far. Thus, as per our knowledge, 30 personnel are still missing from this barge P-305 and tug Varaprada. We are also deploying a survey ship INS Makar to undertake search for these 2 sunken vessels. Makar is equipped with side scan sonar and would be embarking our naval diving team. Now, it has been over 95 hours since the crew abandoned the sinking barge in very rough sea and extreme weather conditions. Although up against the time, but we are hopeful that we may find more survivors who could have drifted far. We have accordingly expanded the area of search, increased the number of ships, and are using aircraft such as P-8I and helicopters to complement our search efforts. Now, our intention is to continue with the search and rescue operation till all crew members of the sunken vessels are accounted for. And I can assure you that we will make all efforts and utilize all resources. With regards to the status of search and rescue efforts of the Gujarat coast, as you must have heard, support station 3 and drill ship Sagar Bhushan, which were adrift after having broken their anchor moorings in the cyclone, have been safely towed back to Mumbai by ONGC support vessels. So that is a good news. And all personnel are safe. We had provided food and water to these 300-odd crew members of these vessels by our ship Talwar and naval helicopters which were flying from Mumbai during their passage. So that is the status of the search and rescue as we speak.
So this is obviously the most daring, the most challenging, and one of the most toughest rescue operations that you would have ever undertaken, given the fury that Cyclone Tauktae unleashed. Could you tell us a little bit for our viewers about the challenges that you faced?
The sea conditions on the 17th were very severe. When our ships were sailed in response to the distress message received from the ONGC control room. The sea state was 8 to 9 with wave heights of up to 9 meters and wind speeds of 120 to 140 kilometers per hour. Now, these were extreme conditions and posed serious challenge to the ships and aircraft involved in SAR operations. However, this is what the Navy is trained for. That's what we are all trained for. Our platforms are meant to go in the harm's way. The ships and their crew demonstrated exemplary grit, courage, and selfless devotion to duty, and braved the harsh seas to save as many lives as possible. Anyone who has been at sea will appreciate that picking up survivors in rough sea conditions is not an easy task and requires great seamanship and ship handling skills and appreciation of prevalent sea and wind conditions. Furthermore, most part of the search and rescue efforts were undertaken at night time with poor visibility due to rain. Now, since the warships themselves were rolling and pitching excessively, working on the upper decks was highly challenging and, dare I say, unsafe. However, as time was of critical essence and any delays in locating personnel in water would have resulted in more number of casualties, our ships continued on their rescue task 24/7 without any breaks. Another challenge was with respect to undertaking flying operations. Aircraft can be force multipliers in undertaking search and rescue at sea. However, the high wind speeds and very severe weather did not initially allow utilization of aircraft and helicopters to be employed at sea. Notwithstanding the wind and harsh weather, our pilots operated in marginal conditions at the earliest opportunity and indeed added to the search and rescue efforts of the Navy. Here I would like to especially highlight the exemplary skills demonstrated by helicopter pilots and our air crew divers. Now, undertaking search and rescue efforts in such cyclonic weather conditions is a very difficult task and requires platforms that are capable of operating in heavy seas, a crew which is experienced and well trained, and also great level of coordination between all stakeholders.
Right. So, if I may ask, there were some warnings. There were indications that a cyclone like this is going to come. How geared up were you for it? How prepared were you for it? Did you expect this level of devastation to happen? And secondly, sir, what were your learnings from this particular search and rescue operation?
Neelanjana, I've been told that this was the one of the strongest tropical cyclone on record in the Arabian Sea, as you also alluded, with sustained speeds of up to 130 km per hour, going up to 140 km, wave heights of up to 9 meters, and visibility reducing to nearly zero in blinding rain and thunderstorms. It is indeed extremely difficult for any ship to operate at sea. It is under these conditions that two of our ships were dispatched to carry out the rescue operations at an extremely short notice. These ships sailed in the midst of the cyclone and were just about 40 to 50 miles from the eye of the storm while undertaking this mission. The operation was undertaken on a pitch dark night with very heavy seas causing violent motion of the ship, requiring precise navigation and deft ship handling skills to pick up the survivors safely. Under these extremely challenging conditions, our ships, as I said, Kochi and Kolkata, were able to rescue around 130 survivors within first 12 hours of sinking of barge P-305.
Right.
Likewise, naval helicopters have also rescued survivors both from sea as well as vessels in distress in similar challenging weather conditions. To keep a helicopter at hover practically stationary, whilst winching up people in high winds and rain requires professional skills of very high order. The operation actually epitomizes and highlights the courage, professionalism, the never say die spirit, and training of the personnel manning our ships and aircraft. This operation is also testimony to Indian shipbuilding, as both Kochi and Kolkata carried out operations without any damage to the platforms or injury to any of their crew. Once the operation is over, we will certainly evaluate and analyze the lessons learned in detail, which will enable us to mitigate any deficiencies in our SOPs and processes.
Absolutely. Sir, to use the word commendable is, of course, is it's an understatement. But you talked of, to mitigate any further, alarm that might come. But we are expecting another cyclone as early as the 25th of May. So, are you prepared for that, sir?
Indian Navy has been at the forefront of HADR operations for many years. We have standard operating procedures and protocols in place to deal with such cyclones.
Right.
We have Indian Navy diving teams that are kept standby and ready for deployment in case of any request from state authorities. Also, flood rescue teams and medical teams are being embarked for immediate response and deployment. Repair and rescue teams would also be kept standby to undertake urgent infrastructural repairs post-cyclone if required. Our warships would be standby with aid and relief material for immediate assistance to affected areas, again as required by state authorities. And balance ships on the eastern seaboard are also on standby for assistance to fishing boats and small boats which could be stranded due to rough weather. Our maritime reconnaissance aircraft on surveillance would be continuously broadcasting cyclone warnings to fishermen.
So, if I may shift gears a little bit, India is still reeling under the second wave of COVID-19. And that the Indian Navy has also been assisting in that. You have launched Operation Samudra Setu, and obviously that is also going on simultaneously along with the search and rescue operations as far as Cyclone Tauktae is concerned. Could you tell us a little bit, sir, about the status of Operation Samudra Setu now?
Neelanjana, these are tough times, and of course, the last 15 months, it has been so for the entire world. India is no exception. Last year, as a Navy, we had decided that we will ensure that we remain caregivers instead of becoming caretakers. And therefore, in May and June of last year, our ships, largely Jalashwa, Shardul, Arawat and Magar, had traversed almost 23,000 kilometers over 58 days as part of our government's Vande Bharat mission, and had evacuated close to 4,000 Indian citizens from Maldives, Sri Lanka and Iran. This unique evacuation mission was named Operation Samudra Setu and presented unprecedented challenges in terms of social distancing on board ships and medical cover requiring realignment of operating procedures. But we learned from that. So amidst the second wave, this year, of course, the challenge is totally different, where we have to now support the national cause in getting the medical supplies from wherever they are available. So in end April, during the extraordinary surge of the pandemic, which put tremendous pressure on country's health infrastructure and capacity, the Navy launched Operation Samudra Setu 2, as I said, to augment the national mission for meeting medical oxygen requirements, apart from other medical supplies. So far, 11 naval ships from 3 naval commands have traversed over 90,000 kilometers with a cumulative total of 163 days at sea to ferry liquid medical oxygen and other medical supplies from friendly foreign countries across the expanse of Indian Ocean region, from the Persian Gulf to Southeast Asia. As on date, our ships have delivered 260 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen and more than 6,000 oxygen cylinders, and a large number of COVID relief material and medical supplies, which we picked up from Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Brunei, and Singapore, to name some countries, and delivered them to various Indian ports. In the next few days, by 24th, 25th, our ships will deliver 650 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen and around 5,800 oxygen cylinders and other critical medical equipment. As the name of the operation, Samudra Setu, suggests, this maritime bridge will continue to remain operational, with our ships making trips to ferry critical medical supplies to our country as required by the government.
So we can definitely say that the people are in good hands as far as the Indian Navy is concerned, because the Indian Navy is on a war footing as far as COVID-19 is concerned, pandemic is concerned, and definitely the latest crisis that the Indian Navy has faced, the country has faced with Cyclone Tauktae. The Indian Navy, of course, rising to the occasion and undertaking one of its most challenging operations ever, search and rescue operations ever. And as you just heard, Admiral Tripathi, what a wonderful job they have done. And of course, we are all hoping that the remaining survivors are found and they are brought back safely. Sir, thank you very much for taking out time to speak to BharatShakti. I know you're a very busy man right now, but we are very grateful that you took out time to talk to us. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Neelanjana. I just want to say that it's not over till it is finished. And we have miles to go before I sleep. I means the Navy, and we will continue our efforts to provide succor to our countrymen in whichever field it is required. So our search operations are continuing, as also the mission operation Samudra Setu 2 will also continue till the time the government demands. Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure talking to you.
I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best for every endeavor that you undertake. Thank you very much. And I request all of you to please like this video. I request you to subscribe to our the YouTube channel on BharatShakti, and follow us on all our social media platforms, and also like and subscribe to those as well. And please keep sending us your feedback regarding this interview. Thank you so much.